G'day and welcome to our second episode of Getting Coffee with the CEOs, a video series we're doing for Truck and Bus TV on our website, talking to the shakers and movers in the truck industry. And today we're at Volvo Australia's Sydney operation to talk to Mitch Peden, the Senior Vice President in charge of the Volvo Truck brand in Australia. Volvo's come an awful long way in the last few years, most particularly a long way since trucks like this, the old F86, were the staple diet of Volvo's truck sales in Australia. In fact, Volvo Group Australia outstripped the Packard Group in the last couple of years in terms of overall heavy-duty sales, and Volvo is number 2 to Kenworth in the Australian market. And part of the reason why that has happened is Mitch Peden. So let's go and have a chat to Mitch, find out what makes him tick and how he's driven Volvo to a fantastic position in the marketplace.
John, how you going?
Good to see you.
Excellent.
Thanks for joining us on Getting Coffee with the CEOs.
Thank you.
Although, strictly speaking, you're not the CEO of Volvo Group Australia, you are the man in charge of Volvo Truck in Australia.
Head of Volvo Truck brand here in Australia and New Zealand. Can't forget our cousins across the ditch.
Of course.
But, yeah, very important part of our business, but absolutely, custodian of the Volvo brand here in Australia, and very proud to represent the brand here today. So, yeah, absolutely.
How did you get involved in the truck business?
I was in the automotive space. So I worked for General Motors for 10 years. Then my wife and I moved to Brisbane. I was looking for a Brisbane-based company to work for, and fortunately, Volvo Trucks popped its head up, and I got a job with those guys. And 12 years later, here I am. So, done a lot of great roles with Volvo brand. Worked in a group sense there as well. Certainly now very focused on the Volvo brand result as a singular thing now as part of our overall group, let's say. So yeah, it's a very exciting time to be part of Volvo. It's fantastic.
Did you ever dream you'd be working in the truck sphere?
No, to tell you the truth, I was very much engaged with the car side of things. So I was a real car lover growing up. With Holden, I was working in the light commercial space, so I guess that was sort of a move across to that, but in no means the heavy truck space. But I've really embraced it. Like, it's different to the car game. You're really immersed in people's lives in the truck business, and it's so beneficial to the relationships you build and the people you meet. And it's it's long-term business partnerships, and it's a very interesting place to be.
In that 12 years, it's obviously the company's come a long way in terms of its truck market share and where it is in the market. You're giving Packard a lot of hurry up at the moment. What's the toughest challenge for you at the moment at Volvo?
Right now, let's say we're coming off 2016. We've had our strongest market share result in 25 years, which is absolutely fantastic. Our product's very good, the quality's good. Right now, it's really, as I put to my team, let's not give our customers a reason to not stay with us for the long term, because we have a long-term view with business partnerships, and we're looking to work with customers in that way too. So we just need to be mindful of making sure that our offering is competitive. Our quality, in line with our quality core value, is always top of mind, and making sure that our mind's firmly focused on the customers, what their challenges are, and how we're always refining to meet these ever-evolving needs. It's such a highly competitive, low-margin business, the trucking industry.
So you're working on those challenges, but what do you think is Volvo's biggest competitive advantage at the moment?
Big advantage right now, I believe, is there's a good understanding in the market now what we're bringing to the table in terms of the quality of our trucks, the driver acceptance of our trucks, fuel economy result. Uptime is very good, and also our ability to have the local factory where customers can come to us and ask questions about, okay, how can we maybe refine our offer a bit to meet their particular needs, let's say, and our ability to have a for want of a better word, bespoke factory where we can sit down and nut out and tailor make a individual solution for individual customers is it's a very strong competitive advantage that we maybe don't make enough of as far as promotion goes externally, but we certainly drive that message with our business partners to say, look, if this thing isn't quite working, let's work with our factory engineers.
With those sales successes Volvo's had in the last few years, you've obviously, as a group, VGA are now number one in heavy duty, and Volvo are a big component of that. You've gone from targeting others probably to being a target yourselves, because there's a lot of new Euro trucks coming in. And,
absolutely.
Where do you see your biggest contenders, if you like, people that are after you? Where do you see your biggest opposition?
Well, obviously the PACCAR group with their, still very, very strong, and still the clear market leader. So I guess it's always of interest to us to continue to benchmark our performance against what we're hearing from the market around the Kenworth and the DAF side of things. Obviously the new generation of Mercedes coming through interests us, and we watch with interest of how that will be accepted in the marketplace. A lot of energy is currently going into that, and we don't kid ourselves that there's not other very large, well-resourced competitors that think the Australian market is very interesting as well. And I guess from a European sense, which is generally the market we play in, I guess the the Mercedes and the new Scania, when that arrives, will be of great interest to us to see how that
could be a way off yet, though.
Could be a way off yet, absolutely. But man, time flies. So you stop for a sec, just have a coffee, and all of a sudden another 3 months have flown by, right? So
I hope this coffee doesn't take
No,
3
that's
months.
right. I'm not a time lord.
So having the factory, obviously, everyone's in the truck industry is pretty aware that, you guys have a factory here in Australia, and PACCAR do, and Iveco to a lesser extent. But you see that as a distinct edge that enables you to adapt to the local environment.
Definitely, yeah. It's a much different conversation for me to have with our local factory. I want to build 3 specific trucks than it would be for me to try and go to the factory in Sweden and try and get 3 specific trucks out of their mega build type of thing.
Coming out of the car industry, what did you have to do? Did you have to go and get a truck licence?
I got my truck licence, yes. I don't drive a hell of a lot, but I certainly got my truck licence. You sort of need to be able to answer yes to that question. You've got a truck licence, so absolutely. But I did try in the early years to learn all I could about trucks. I mean, just for legitimacy in the industry, let's say.
Why don't we go and have a drive of the truck, and you can show me what your driving prowess is?
Absolutely, fantastic. Let's go. Here we are.
The big machine. We're on board an FH.
FH540, yeah. This is J-Tech Transport, one of Troy Barlow's trucks, ripping bloke. And this is a great example of what I was saying before, a family business, growing. We've got a great understanding of where Troy wants to go with his family and his business, and doing it with Volvo Trucks, and good relationship with his dealer. And it's know Troy well, and it's great that he'll loan us a truck for the day to have a spin. So yeah, it's really good.
So, what do you like to do when you're not at work, Mitch? What's your leisure activities you like doing?
Well, we've bought my wife and I have recently bought a couple of acres on the Gold Coast hinterland.
You from Queensland originally?
No, I'm from WA originally. And, moved across in 1995 to Queensland. Moved with General Motors.
Yep.
Married a Queensland girl, so that's where I find myself now. So yeah, but I've still got family back in Western Australia, and I very much enjoy getting back to WA. The transport trucking space in WA is always very interesting with what they run over there, the configurations and the extreme weights and the challenges they face there. So it's we've got a strong dealer over there. The Winkles family, Max Winkles, kicked off Volvo. I like Max a lot. He's got a very curious mind.
He has.
How things work, and how we can always be doing things better, and it's it's great to still have his guidance and advice, let's say, when we get back there to see him, because it's he's got a very good perspective and outlook on the trucking industry. And
So coming from WA, does that give you, even though you weren't involved in the truck industry there, some sort of insight into what is a very important market for Volvo?
oh, absolutely. Like, I remember going on family holidays as a young guy and you know, seeing Giarchi trucks running around Bunbury, as an example. And you know, I know Peter Giarchi quite well now. He's since sold his business out to Cuba a number of years ago, but I've often reflected to Peter just that, you know, if I had to name a trucking company from my youth, Giarchi is always top of mind, because you know, when I was on school holidays and the like, there'd just be trucks everywhere running around with mineral sands and the like.
Being a sand groper, I'd imagine your allegiances are more with the Aussie rules than rugby league.
Oh yes, yeah, but pretty shocking West Coast Eagles fan, let's say. There's a couple of Dockers fans in our office, and we always have a scratchy bet every time they play, and I've been coming up trumps for the last couple of years, which pleases me greatly, so it's good. So no, it's good. We've yeah, I like the Aussie rules side of things, and like to even living on the Gold Coast now with the Suns there, I do like to go and see a bit of footy and that sort of stuff, because it's it's actually a beautiful place to go and watch AFL at the Suns ground there. They've done it very well.
Yeah,
It's
and
in the winter the weather's always pretty good there, and it's yeah, you can have a couple of beers and watch the big men fly. So yeah, it's great.
A lot of travel involved in running a truck company. Do you ever get sick of that?
I tell you the truth, you get to the end of a year and you don't miss not getting on a plane again. You know, being a platinum frequent flyer for both Qantas and Virgin isn't the sign of a happy home life, let's say. But that said, I've got a very understanding partner who, you know, she's been very accepting of the job I do and the nature of it, needing to go out and, you know, see people and be part of people's businesses, and it's certainly not an office-based role whatsoever. So you need to be out and about. I look after New Zealand as well, as I mentioned, I think, and you know, we also over there a fair bit of the year. You know, one of our biggest customers is over there, Fonterra, and you know, we do a lot with the Kiwis too, just to make sure that they, you know, we maintain them as top of mind as well, because they've got different challenges to us, and we need to make sure that we're working their challenges into our thinking as well. So, and that seems to be paying some dividends for us also. So. But no, I like to travel. I've been doing it for a lot of years in the automotive industry now, and it's you know, it's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just that it does wear you down after a while. So yes, it's extended holiday is a welcome every now and again. So yeah.
So you've kicked some big goals for Volvo in Australia and New Zealand over the last few years. You know, maybe Martin Lundstedt gets on the phone and says, "Mitch, we're very impressed with you. We want to send you somewhere overseas." What's the sort of the feeling there? Yeah,
we've wife and I've talked about that. We'd be open to opportunity, let's say. But that said, right now, more than happy to be working in the Australian market. I don't think there's probably a more competitive space, maybe globally right now. All the manufacturers are here. Everyone's competing for a very small slice of a pie. So we, but you know, absolutely. You know, if there's an interesting thing to go to try and add value in another market, by all means, we could certainly go have a swing at that too. So yeah. Great, Tom.
Really appreciate your time, and fantastic for being part of getting coffee with the CEOs.
No, thanks for having us today.